Metro Manila is ready for a shift to a general community quarantine. But just this afternoon, the Health Department reported the country's highest single-day jump in COVID-19 cases. NCR's local chief executives, however, said they saw the spike in cases coming. Pat Mangune with the story.
Malacanang says Metro Manila is ready to be placed under a general community quarantine. In a press briefing on Thursday, presidential spokesman Harry Roque cited the slowdown in doubling rate of COVID-19 cases in the country as indicated in the recommendation of Metro Manila mayors.
Well, NCR is ready from the data that we have seen, but that really depends on the cooperation of everyone. Now, ang nakikita po nating datos ay bumagal po ang doubling rate. Sa huling datos po na sang-ayon sa na pinagbasihan ng rekomendasyon ng mga Metro Manila mayors, no, halos isang buwan na raw po ang doubling rate ng sakit na yan. At nakapaghanda naman po tayo ng mas maraming lugar kung saan natin i-confine yung mga asymptomatic.
The Interagency Task Force on Wednesday formally recommended to President Duterte that the entire Metro Manila be downgraded to GCQ from June 1 to June 15. This was after all 17 Metro Manila mayors voted in favor of the shift, citing the need to balance health and economic concerns. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte has also announced the extension of GCQ to June 15. Despite the expected relaxation of restrictions in NCR, some commuters are worried about taking the public transportation.
Siyempre, mahirapan tayo kasi kumbaga, dagsa yung tao dyan panigurado, hindi lang naman ako yung papasok. So, dapat siguro mas maaga akong gigising kumpara doon sa dati kong ginagawa na pag-commute. Mga 2 to 3 hours pang mas maaga. Siguro nang panawagan sa gobyerno if ever na kung mapagbigay din sila ng tulong tulad sa frontliners, kung pwedeng magbigay lang sila ng service vehicles na kumbaga konting tulong lang sa dagsa ng dami ng commuters.
Under the current modified enhanced community quarantine, tricycles are the only mass transportation vehicles allowed to ply the streets. But as part of the new normal, tricycle drivers are required to comply with several health protocols. Only one passenger per trip is also allowed.
Per toda, meron tayong i-assign na safety officer to make sure na dapat pag walang mask yung driver, hindi siya pwedeng umasada. Pag yung pasahero rin walang mask, hindi pwedeng pasakayin. Posibleng maging GCQ na ano ibig sabihin nito? Mas marami ng taong lalabas sa kalye na nangangailangan ng transportasyon. Kaya sabi ko, importanteng i-comply nyo na yung mga nahihiningi natin sapagkat ang tao naghahanap na ng masasakyan.
San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora says his LGU is studying if they could provide additional shuttles for workers if the need arises. For his part, Marikina Mayor Marcy Chodoro vouches for the shift to GCQ but recognizes the need to fill the gaps in mass transportation.
Yung accessibility and mobility ng mga workers natin. Kaya nakikipag-usap kami sa mga private companies sa Marikina and other commercial establishments. Kung kakayanin ng private sector natin, mag-provide sila ng mga shuttle services para sa kanilang mga workers. At tutulong din naman ang LGU. Sa ngayon ay nagbibigay na tayo ng mga libreng sakay para doon sa mga kababayan natin na nanggagaling sa kanilang bahay at gusto mag-access sa mga essential services. May mga drop-off points, may mga terminals tayo na inassign.
Navotas City Mayor Toby Chanco meanwhile reiterates the need to enforce safety protocols now that more people are expected to go out.
Yes, but of course, ang expectation natin is hindi kakasya because there will be more people out, di ba? Kaya ina-encourage yung company shuttle. Pero in all of these, dapat ma-maintain yung social distancing sa loob ng vehicle.
For News 5, Patricia Mangune. We are One News.
The Health Department reports the highest COVID-19 case count in a day since March 31st. The country posts 539 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the national case count to 15,588, the biggest single-day increase in 2 months. There are now 11,069 total active cases in the country. 17 people have died due to COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, bringing the death count to 921. while a total of 3,598 people have recovered, with 92 recoveries recorded today. The DOH says laboratories across the country are aiming to reduce the testing backlog to zero by Thursday night. As of Wednesday, the backlog stands at 3,683 from over 12,000 2 weeks before. Meanwhile, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere attributed the sudden surge of daily cases to increased validation of cases after hiring additional encoders.
Inaasahan pa rin ho natin na sa mga darating na araw, maaari pa rin hong tumaas ang ating mga kaso dahil patuloy na po tayong nakakapag-validate ng ating mga kaso.
Transport network company Grab is all set to have their partner drivers back on the road. But with it comes an appeal for an additional charge per trip to cover the driver's expenses for disinfection. Taxi operators, meanwhile, are scrambling to adopt cashless payment methods for fare collection. Gerard de la Peña has the rest of the story.
Jeffrey spent 2,500 pesos to set up an acrylic divider inside his car that he uses as Transport Network Vehicle Service or TNVS. This is his way of protecting himself from COVID-19 in case the government allows them to operate when it decides to put NCR under general community quarantine next week. He has also finished an online training course mandated by the government. He says he's ready to hit the road after having no means of livelihood in the last 2 months.
Yung minsang inaasahan na katulad nung sa DSWD, yung SAC ba? Yung 8,000. So ako, tulad ko, marami ring member ng Grab na katulad ko na hindi nakakuha.
Drivers and passengers will be required to wear face masks. Each car should only have a maximum of 2 passengers. Payment of fares should be done electronically. Surge is unlikely, but Grab said it asked the LTFRB to charge passengers an additional of 5 pesos per trip.
Cashless payments has a fee attached to it from the merchant discount rates that come from the credit cards. And the disinfection kits and disinfection measures is an added cost burden to the drivers. So we've made a proposal to the LTFRB to raise the per trip cost by a fixed amount that would help cover these items.
Passengers have different reactions on the proposed added charge.
Okay naman, gets ko naman kasi kailangan ng mga tao magtrabaho.
Medyo mahal na nga yung Grab, tas mag-additional pa.
Meanwhile, taxi drivers and operators are also preparing to once again ply the roads. They have already put up plastic barriers and are vigorously disinfecting their units. However, it would be difficult for them to comply with the government's directive to use cashless payments for fares.
Hindi mo pwedeng gawing mandatory kaagad. You have to kailangan bigyan ng industriya ng sufficient time in order to adapt this system. Hindi lang para sa operator at sa driver, para na rin sa mga pasahero.
The Transportation Department says the Interagency Task Force will release guidelines on public transport upon President Duterte's approval. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
The National Center for Mental Health has reported an increase in calls to their crisis hotline amid the imposed lockdown in the country. Callers range from repatriated overseas Filipino workers to even medical frontliners, all under tremendous stress due to the pandemic. Mean Los Baños with the details.
Before the country was placed under community quarantine due to COVID-19, the National Center for Mental Health receives 60 to 80 calls from their hotline every month. These callers sought consultation for various mental health issues. But when restrictions were enforced, the NCMH crisis hotline was bombarded with 300 to 400 calls, an indication that more Filipinos are suffering from mental health problems amid the health crisis.
Meaning to say that there are a lot of people wanting to communicate with the experts that we place in a crisis hotline that actually were mostly due to anxiety and depression because of the quarantine lockdown that has been going on.
During today's Senate hearing on COVID-19 crisis, the center reports that some of the recent callers are repatriated OFWs. Frontliners exposed to COVID-19 patients are also being monitored by the Health Department.
Tawag natin silang modern day heroes
Pero pagdating naman dito po, ay nakukulong sila at hirap na hirap po ang kanilang kalagayan.
Hence, amendments to the Mental Health Act was sought as proposed by Senator Sonny Angara. His bill states there should be higher compensation for people suffering from mental health problems due to work. PhilHealth must also increase its case rates for Filipinos undergoing treatment due to mental health issues. Currently, it allots 7,800 pesos per member for such cases. Different stakeholders, including the Health Department, support proposed measure.
It's on the uptick given the number of people cooped up or quarantined. Baka panahon na po na gumawa ng separate case rates for different cases.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said they will review this on the third quarter of the year.
Ibigay ko po sa PhilHealth bilang chairman of the board na kinakailangan talagang i-review na ito at kung pwedeng ma-ramp up ang support value ng PhilHealth sa mga iba't ibang mga kondisyon na nakaka-apekto po doon sa mental health ng ating mga kababayan.
For News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
We'll pause for a short break, but when the big story returns, 2 areas in Leyte each record their first ever coronavirus case after the government launched its Balik-Probinsya program. And the Education Department stressed it will not allow face-to-face learning in classrooms for this year's school opening. Keep it here on One News for more big stories.
It's the National Flag Day. We commemorate the first time the national emblem was unfurled on this day in 1898. It was after the Philippine Revolutionary Army's historic victory against the Spanish forces at the Battle of Alapan in Imus, Cavite. Do you still remember the meaning behind the national flag symbols? Here's a quick refresher. The 3 stars represent the country's major island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The 8 rays and the golden sun, meanwhile, represent the 8 provinces that first revolted against Spain. These are Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Pampanga, Morong or modern-day Rizal, Laguna, Batangas, and Nueva Ecija. The white portion in the flag represents liberty, equality, and fraternity. The blue one symbolizes peace, freedom, and justice. And the red one means courage and patriotism. The Philippine flag is also the only national flag in the world that signifies a different meaning depending on its orientation. If it is in standard form, where the blue portion is on top or at the observer's left side when hung vertically, the country is at peace. But if the red portion is on top or at the observer's left side, the country is at war.
Encourages all local government units to prepare their own testing and quarantine facilities as they accept returning residents under the Balik-Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa program. This after 2 areas in Leyte each record their first coronavirus case. The patients are both returning residents under the initiative. Jem Avancenia with the story.
Baybay City in Leyte confirmed its first COVID-19 case following the arrival of the first batch of the Balik-Probinsya bagong pag-asa beneficiaries last Friday.
Ang ato mga Balik-Probinsya, ang first batch, ako ipasabot kaninyo, ang usa ni ani nag-positive sa COVID test. So doon na natay pinakauna na COVID patient niya diri sa Baybay. Opisyal nako nagpasabot kaninyo ni ani aron pasig na apay mahitabo ng mga misinformation.
City Mayor Jose Carlos Cari said the 28-year-old patient is now in an isolation facility. Cari also assured his people that they are doing the best they can to mitigate the spread of the virus.
Naatay andam na mga quarantine facility, matag barangay, naatay isolation facility, ang ato COVID Ligtas Center na diri sa Diversion Road. Ang mga muuli diri sa ato syudad mo undergo og quarantine. Tanan moagi og testing.
In a press release, the Department of Health Eastern Visayas Center for Health and Development also confirmed the first COVID-19 case in Tanawan, Leyte. The 26-year-old patient is now under observation in an isolation unit. According to the Regional Health Agency, the two patients were swabbed upon arrival in Leyte last May 21st. The samples have been sent to the Subnational Laboratory in Cebu. In a statement, Senator Bongo said that qualified applicants of the BP2 program provided all the requirements, including health certificate from the DOH and the local government unit where they have been residing before going home to their respective provinces. For its part, Malacanang encourages all LGUs to prepare their own testing and quarantine facilities as they accept returning residents under the initiative.
Pilot ng Balik-Probinsya, no? Ang alam ko po, lahat po ng bumabalik sa probinsya ay binibigyan din ng test. No? Pero local governments of course are encouraged also to have their own test facilities at to quarantine yung mga Balik-Probinsya participants.
For News 5, Jem Avancenia, we are One News.
Hackers attacked the Twitter account of PLDT, calling for faster internet connection amid the pandemic. Through the PLDT customer service account, the group posted a series of tweets after changing the account name to PLDT Doesn't Care. The account was recovered shortly after the incident. In a statement, PLDT says the issue was limited to the said Twitter account and did not affect its network and services. The internet provider adds it has already provided speed boosts for its fiber subscribers, while its subsidiary, Smart, has increased data allocations for its mobile phone customers. These are the other big stories today. The Bureau of Immigration has placed 2 Chinese nationals on its alert list after being caught operating an illegal COVID-19 clinic in Pampanga last week. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente says it will prevent the 2 from leaving the country while investigation is ongoing. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara says earlier instructed the BI and the National Bureau of Investigation to help the PNP in cracking down on illegal COVID hospitals. For her part, Senator Risa Ontiveros wants to deport and blacklist Chinese nationals involved in underground COVID-19 clinics and pharmacies. Senator Mig Zubiri has filed Senate Bill 1544, seeking the extension of the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act to September 30 this year. Zubiri, who is a COVID-19 survivor, says the extension will allow President Duterte to continue exercising realignment of items in the national budget, as well as other special powers in line with the country's pandemic response. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque earlier said that it would be ideal to extend the Bayanihan law up to 3 months as government aid is still needed in various sectors. Congress has until early next week to pass the law extension before lawmakers go on break on June 3rd. The Interior Department is giving local government units until today, May 28th, to submit their liquidation for the first tranche of the Social Amelioration Program, as well as the list of beneficiaries for the second tranche. Interior spokesperson Jonathan Malaya says only 472 out of over 1,600 LGUs nationwide have so far submitted their reports as of May 26. He adds that local governments should accept returns or refunds of cash aid from beneficiaries who received similar assistance from other government agencies. Malaya also hopes that the distribution of the second tranche of payout will be more efficient, especially with the PNP now tapped by the Interagency Task Force to assist in the distribution. We'll be back with more big stories after the break. Stay with us here on One News. I'm Jess De Los Santos and you're watching The Big Story. The Education Department maintains that there is no conflict between its plans on the start of the coming school year and President Duterte's recent statement. The education chief explains, like Duterte, the agency would not allow face-to-face learning in classrooms. Marian Enriquez with a story.
As early as 9 a.m., Angie is preoccupied assisting her children for their summer class. Using Facebook Messenger, teachers sent today's activities and Angie will dictate this to her youngest child, Gwen, an incoming grade 3 student. Her two teenagers, Hans and Kine, meanwhile are busy answering their activities that are posted on a Facebook private page. They start with a prayer, English storytelling, creative writing, and tackle COVID-related topics as well.
Kailangan talaga tiyaga ng magulang sa pagsubaybay para may matutunan sila.
E-learning is one of the platforms the Education Department is looking at in providing learning opportunities amid the pandemic. Education Chief Leonor Briones in Thursday's Laging Handa briefing emphasized that opening of classes will push through on August 24. But there will be no face-to-face classes until it is safe to do so. Briones stressed that the public should not be confused with her position vis-a-vis that of President Duterte on the resumption of classes because they are the same. Aside from online platforms, the DepEd also plans to use TV and radio as educational tools. They are also considering the delivery of packets or modules. An associate dean at the Asian Institute of Management backs DepEd's considerations.
We don't need to shut down the whole system. Let's be creative and let's try to look for other ways by which we can do this.
In an interview with 1PH, Eliazardo Casilag, FAPSA president, said some of private academic institutions have been using technology such as tablets even before the pandemic.
Papatagalin mo rin naman, no? August. Tapos computer rin naman gagamitin mo, online ka rin naman. What's the use?
Right.
Pagdating ng paghihintay mo, gagamit ka rin naman lang ng tablet. You might as well start earlier. So, immediately, at alam niyo, pagka pinatagal, kasi may requirement yan sa batas. You have to finish 218 contact days, no?
Casilag said some of its members may open online classes earlier than August. The DepEd has issued enrollment guidelines for the next school year. They will conduct remote enrollment for at least the first 2 weeks starting this June. For News 5, Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
With companies shifting to work from home setups and schools set to implement online classes, customers have flocked to gadget stores in Gilmore, Quezon City to gear up. Sellers say their sales have tripled with increased demand. Most consumers purchased mid-range laptops and desktops priced at around 20,000 pesos. The cheapest brand new laptops range from 10,000 to 12,000 pesos. However, retailers advise customers to purchase online for their safety and to ensure stocks are available.
Sobrang dami nila nag-i-inquire sa ngayon. Kulang-kulang na po yung mga mga parts namin regarding dyan. Dati, every month, every week, meron supply kaagad. Sa ngayon, kami pa nga pumupunta sa mismong supplier namin.
Let's take a look at the biggest stories across the globe. The controversial Hong Kong National Security Bill gets backing from China's parliament after legislators overwhelmingly approved a decision to move forward with the measure. China says the bill is aimed at tackling secession, subversion, terrorism, and foreign interference in the city. The plan triggered fresh protests in Hong Kong this week. Schools in South Korea continue to reopen even with the increasing number of new COVID-19 cases in the country. Teachers with thermometers and hand sanitizers welcome students at school gates. The start of the spring semester had been postponed several times since March as South Korea battled the first large COVID-19 outbreak outside China. And workers are grooming the Walt Disney World in Florida as the world's largest theme park prepares to reopen in July. Last week, shops and restaurants at the Disney Springs shopping area outside the Orlando parks reopened to visitors for the first time since March. You can now donate to our medical frontliners and people in need through the Alagang Kapatid Foundation and Shopee. Alagang Kapatid is raising funds for food packs, hygiene kits, and care packages to our frontliners. To donate, just go to Alagang Kapatid's Shopee account and buy donation vouchers from 50 pesos up to 2,000 pesos. All proceeds will go directly to partner organizations. You can also donate through your PayMaya app. For further details, visit Alagang Kapatid's Facebook page. And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250. Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News. Good evening.